Many people spend their lives following patterns they didn't choose, but were imposed by external forces such as culture, family, and society. From an early age, we are taught what we should be, how to behave, and which paths to follow, without questioning if these choices reflect our true essence. This process of adaptation offers a sense of belonging, but often disconnects us from our individuality. Carl Jung understood this dynamic as one of the greatest human challenges. He believed that, to be authentic, we need to go beyond these external influences and face the deeper aspects of our personality. It's not just a conscious decision, but a continuous effort to understand and integrate all parts that make us who we are. This is the starting point to reflect on why so many people never manage to truly be themselves. For Carl Jung, authenticity is not a natural state that we automatically return to, but a deliberate and challenging process. He described this movement as individuation, a journey of discovering the self, the essential core that defines our uniqueness. However, achieving this authentic connection requires crossing barriers built by both external and internal forces, which often shape us more than we realize. The concept of the collective unconscious, one of Jung's most notable ideas, helps to understand these influences. It is a network of universal patterns, symbols, and archetypes that, although shared by all humanity, exert a silent pressure on our choices. These elements act as molds that sometimes lead us down paths that barely reflect our essence. As we adjust to these universal expectations, we risk distancing ourselves from what makes us unique. More than a simple adaptation to the external world, this tension reflects the conflict between the need for belonging and the search for individual expression. For Jung, individuation is the conscious effort to transcend this tension by integrating external influences with a deeper understanding of oneself. Only when we confront these forces clearly can we begin to access who we truly are. The difficulty in being authentic is not a superficial problem. It originates from deep layers that combine external and internal forces, simultaneously shaping who we are. On the external level, we live under the constant influence of social expectations that push us into a conformity that is often invisible. From childhood, we are taught to follow rules, take on responsibilities, and meet demands imposed by family, culture, and society. These norms are not only explicit but also carry an implicit weight that dictates what is acceptable or desirable. This external pressure, while offering structure and belonging, often stifles the more genuine expressions of individuality. However, the most complex challenges to authenticity lie within us. Carl Jung described this through the concept of the shadow, one of the deepest elements of the unconscious. The shadow is formed by everything we repress or deny in ourselves, characteristics, desires, fears, and impulses that we judge as inappropriate or incompatible with the expectations of the external world. When we deny the shadow, we not only avoid an essential part of who we are but also allow it to act unconsciously, influencing decisions and behaviors indirectly and often destructively. Another significant obstacle is the universal human desire for acceptance. The need to be approved and respected forces us to create social masks, adaptations that hide our vulnerability and more authentic aspects. To avoid the risk of rejection, we choose to play roles we consider safer, but which do not reflect our essence. This disconnection leads to a superficial existence, focused on pleasing others and avoiding conflict, while deeper desires remain unexplored. Finally, there is a natural resistance to the discomfort that accompanies the process of self-awareness. Being authentic requires courage to confront not only external pressures but also internal aspects that challenge us. This includes questioning beliefs, revisiting painful experiences, and accepting parts of ourselves that we would prefer to ignore. This work demands effort and can be emotionally exhausting, leading many to opt for the safety of conformity, even if it costs a real connection with themselves. Understanding these obstacles is a crucial step for anyone who wishes to approach their own authenticity. As Jung pointed out, confronting these forces is not easy, but it is necessary to integrate what is most true in us. Only by overcoming these barriers can we begin to live fully, connected to our essence and free from the constraints that bind us to an existence shaped by forces outside of our will. Being truly yourself is not just a matter of personal affirmation or rejecting external expectations. For Carl Jung, it involves a deep and ongoing process of self-knowledge and integration. It means recognizing that you are made up of a multitude of parts, some conscious, others hidden in the unconscious. To be authentic is to accept and integrate these parts harmoniously, without denying any of them. However, this integration goes beyond simply recognizing positive traits. Jung emphasized that being authentic requires facing the shadow, the repressed, ignored, or rejected aspects that are also part of who you are. By integrating the shadow, you not only accept your limitations but also discover a wealth of potential that is often hidden. This acceptance is not a sign of weakness, but of strength, as it allows you to operate from a more complete vision of yourself. Furthermore, being yourself means finding balance between the influence of social norms and your individuality. This does not mean rejecting society, but learning to navigate it without abandoning what is essential in you. Authenticity, in this context, is not blind rebellion but a conscious stance that reflects your inner truth, regardless of what the external world expects. Another important dimension is vulnerability. Being authentic is not about building an image of perfection or invulnerability, but allowing yourself to be seen as you truly are, with your imperfections and contradictions. This requires courage, as it means letting go of masks and risking rejection. However, it is in this vulnerability that the strength to genuinely connect with others and yourself reside. Jung believed that the true path to authenticity was individuation, the effort to become what you already are in potential. This requires patience, introspection, and a willingness to question what you have always accepted as truth about yourself. To be authentic is not a destination to be reached, but an ongoing process that reflects in daily choices and the values you decide to follow. Carl Jung described individuation as the deepest and most transformative path to achieving authenticity. Unlike following an ideal model of life, individuation means exploring and integrating all the parts that make you who you are, both those you recognize and those that remain hidden in the unconscious. It is a process that requires courage, as it involves uncovering not only your qualities but also the fears, contradictions, and weaknesses you tend to avoid. Individuation begins with awareness of the forces that shape your existence. From social expectations to family and cultural dynamics, you are constantly influenced by external factors. Recognizing these forces is the first step in understanding how they limit or distort your vision of yourself. This recognition, however, is not enough. Jung believed that you must turn inward and explore the deeper layers of the unconscious, where both the shadow and the self, the unifying center of your personality, reside. An essential aspect of this process is the integration of the shadow. Throughout life, you repress characteristics, desires, or memories you judge unacceptable. These repressed parts do not disappear. They remain active in the unconscious, subtly and often harmfully influencing your behaviors and choices. Integrating the shadow does not mean giving in to destructive impulses, but recognizing and accepting these parts as legitimate. Only by doing so can you transform what was once a burden into a resource. Another fundamental step in individuation is reconnecting with the self. The self, for Jung, is the center of balance between the conscious and unconscious forces, the truest essence of who you are. This reconnection is not a one-time act but an ongoing process that involves listening to your intuition, paying attention to your dreams, and questioning the narratives you accept about yourself. Every small choice made in alignment with the self is a step toward authenticity. Finally, individuation is not a withdrawal from the world, but a way of living in balance. You do not need to reject social roles or responsibilities, but learn to inhabit them in a way that reflects your essence. This balance is the hallmark of an authentic life, a life where your choices, values, and actions are aligned with who you truly are. Being truly yourself is one of the deepest challenges you can face in life. Carl Jung showed us that this process requires conscious effort and a willingness to explore unknown inner territories. It is not something that happens automatically or without discomfort, but the result is a life with greater meaning and connection to oneself. Individuation, as the path to authenticity, is not just a personal quest but also an opportunity to live more integrated in the world. When you align with your essence, your actions and decisions cease to be mere responses to external expectations and begin to reflect what truly matters to you. This alignment not only brings inner peace but also transforms your relationship with others, as authenticity creates space for genuine connections. However, it is important to remember that this journey does not have a fixed end. Every step toward integrating the self is an invitation to go even deeper. As you grow, new layers of yourself emerge, asking to be explored and understood. This continuous cycle of discovery is what gives life meaning, even in moments of doubt or difficulty. Most people will never truly be themselves because they lack the courage to face what is hidden. But by recognizing the obstacles, integrating the shadow, and connecting with the self, you can transcend this limitation and live according to your truest essence. It is not an easy path, but it is the only one that leads to inner freedom and a life that is truly worth living. If you wish to understand yourself more deeply and unlock your hidden potential, I invite you to explore my ebook Alchemy and Archetypes, Exploring Inner Transformation Through Jungian Psychology. In it, you will find practical exercises that reveal the secrets of Jung's psychology and how to integrate them into your life.